Good morning. One of the greatest joys I get out of looking back through all these journals is to see the beginning thought of something that I know now, 30 years later, is going to be $1 million or more idea. I was just tallying in my mind this morning, knowing what's coming, that there are at least, just off the top of my head, at least 10 of these $1 million plus ideas. And I was talking with Josh and counting them as like platinum records, ideas that have made $1 million. And some of them would be diamond or $10 million ideas. And I'm looking back now at this transition. We're moving into journal number 6. So this will be a good time to do a little inflection here. It's kind of, spring, end of spring, 1997. So I've been journaling for just over a year. I've been in business for 8 years or 9 years at this time. Most of that as a real estate agent. So, I mark that 1996 as the transition into getting results for other people. Up until then, I was a practitioner of real estate. And so far, in the journals that we've talked about so far, there's been 2 of these $1 million ideas that have surfaced at this point. The first was the guide to Halton Hills, that model of creating something that is going to work without me, that's a duplicatable model that I could install in someone else's business to get a result for them. I have used and still to this day use that idea and have created millions of dollars, both for me and for everybody who's used that model. So that's very rewarding. The other thing that came out of this, and the reason I was so reflective on this, is that we saw the appearance of the first kind of inklings of what became the 8 profit activators. And I was looking, as we're going into journal number 6, most of the beginning of this is about a deeper exploration of those ideas. So we're going to come into Profit Activator Week coming up here, where I'm going to go and do one video on each of the profit activators. But as I look at this, I started thinking, how do you know when you've got a big idea? And knowing what I know now about how ideas turn into reality, so much of it is that you can get the base idea, you can get the idea as a thought, as a proposition. I think this might work. And the great news is that you can test your idea very inexpensively. You can test it very quickly. You can see what happens, whether people are buying into this idea. No matter what, especially if we're talking about marketing ideas, the most important thing is that you're going to be able to get people to raise their hand and say, hey, I'm interested in that. And if you can do that, and you can bookend that with a way to actually get them the result that they really want, all this middle stuff, that's where the marketing really comes in, is telling the stories, telling the information, building your case that will let people experience the result that they really want. And I'm thinking back now, we've seen some of these ideas that I've had have been like these 30-year pursuits that I can't really point to in itself has turned into a multi-million-dollar idea. Like I keep mentioning the seven consumption wheel here of where people spend all of their money, and this advocacy idea of it's a big idea, and I've always been exploring it kind of from the top down, because there's not an easy way to kind of get a foothold into it. I think I know now how to do it, and we'll explore that. But the baseline is that, listen, if you've got an idea, write it down and work it out on paper first. First of all, you have to be able to see how all of these, how your idea is going to go from finding people who might be interested in it, educating them about, how it might look if they got this result, convincing them that you can help them. And once you do that, then it's infinitely scalable. Like once something works, once you've got something that works, it really truly is about taking that idea and running with it. And, I guess the curse of having ADHD is that we're driven by novelty, right? And that it's more exciting to come up with new ideas than it is to take one idea and see it all the way through. I'm fascinated by, I've been listening to the Founders podcast on Spotify, and David Senra is the guy who does the podcast, and he's got all these founders that he profiles, and one of the most fascinating guys is the guy who started Cane's. Is it Cane's Chicken Fingers? Yeah. What's his name? Todd Graves. Todd Graves started, Cane's Chicken Fingers, and his whole idea was based on a premise of chicken fingers for everyone. And he's done nothing but focus 100% on executing what David Senra calls his chicken finger dream of getting chicken fingers in the hands of every American. And they've done that in an amazing executional way. And so I think that if you think that you have ideas, I think that the best thing that I could say is execute it, think about it. It's got to be something that doesn't depend on an extraordinary person, on somebody being able to do extraordinary things. The best thing that you could do is package your idea or work on the idea in a way that allows ordinary people to get extraordinary results. And when you have an idea like that, just proving it and knowing that it works that's getting it on the line. And then I would really recommend just partnering with someone who can take your ideas and run with it. I wish I had learned that earlier in my 30-year journey here. But we're in for some amazing things coming up in journal number 6, starting with the 8 profit activators, which, if we're talking about $1 million ideas, that idea is like the crown jewel of everything that I've done, because it's the idea that creates other ideas. And I can't wait to share that with you coming up. I got a funny email the other day from Rick. It says, Dean, question. Are you saying you can teach me to make fat stacks by hanging out at a pub, drinking coffee like you? And I laughed to myself because I was thinking, yes, I can do that. That's what I do. Is the funny thing, what I really realized is that every idea that I've had, every dollar that I've made over the last 30 years has gone through my brain, through my pen, onto a piece of paper in my journal before it went out into the real world. And if I can turn people onto that activity as a driver for what to do, what to think about, what to ask yourself to draw out what the next most valuable action is for you, and how to find the most profitable things that you can install in your business, I'm all for it. So this Friday at 1 p.m., I'm going to do, for the first time, a 50-minute profit finder workshop. And you're going to join me live on Zoom, and we're going to go through a 50-minute exercise. Bring your pen, bring a notebook or piece of paper, and I'm going to guide you through a thinking process that will help you identify where the lowest hanging fruit is in your business, and maybe some fruit that you didn't even know was there, but I'm going to show you where to look for it. So it's free. It's for you. It's Friday at 1 p.m. this Friday. Just watch. Go to, what did we call the website, Josh?
50-minute profit finder.
Just go to 50minuteprofitfinder.com and I'll get you all the details, and hopefully you can join us then Friday, 1 p.m.